It's Real Fit Radio with B.
and J.LOU.
For those returning listeners, welcome back. And if it's your first time tuning in, welcome.
Welcome, people.
So, what are we on, like day 108 of the quarantine?
Man, I don't know. I lost count. I'm so over it, not in a bad way. I mean, no disrespect to the people who've been affected by it, but this is just kind of like overkill for me. So I'm just taking it one day at a time for the most part. So I know it started somewhere in March, but I'm not real sure how many days it's been.
I don't know why I picture those movies where they've been like locked up, and it's like, if you're listening to this, I don't know how long I've been here, but it's dark, and they start describing where they are. That was my way of checking in with you, just kind of seeing what's going on. You look like you're doing okay. You're hanging in there.
Again, we all go through these phases where, I mean, I get it. We are creating this podcast for motivation, for impacting, inspiring, and empowerment and things of that nature. But I am the one who is very transparent when they are not just at 100%. And I think you guys need transparency sometimes, because you ever went to church at some point in your life, whether you was a young person or an older person, and it's like, dude, I don't want to hear nothing about it's gonna be okay. I don't want to hear none of this right now. I just want to, like, not really soak, but I just want to be here for a moment, and then let me come out of it when I come out of it. I be having these moments like that. So this is one of those days where, no, I don't soak very much. So let's be clear on that. But what I mean is, there are times in my life where I just be like, let me go out here and sip me a drink. I'm going to smoke me a black. I'm going to recalibrate my brain, because I don't want to hear none of this shit today. I don't want to see social media. I don't want to see another negative vibe. I don't want to hear nothing negative. Hell, I got enough going on. And I know it's a lot of things out there in the world that's way bigger than what I probably think in my mind. But I also like to not equate something being bigger than somebody else's problem. So yeah, so it's just one of those weeks. I mean, there's a lot of positive things that came out of this week, like case in point. I got a new Mac, so that's something that's exciting, because we're always trying to progress in the house, whether it's a new device or something that can help us move forward. So yeah, it's a lot to be excited about from last week. Like I said, it's just one of those days where I just be like, all right, man, let me go on my corner. I just got beat up for the week. Let me get the bruises off, get the cold iron, rub the swollen parts out of my eyes or whatever from getting beat up by the world, and let's just get back in this fight. That's just me being honest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Another layer to Lou.
Mm.
One of the many layers of Lou. Okay. All
But
right.
I'm ready to do this podcast. Make no qualms about it.
Are we always ready? It's always so fun. It's exciting to see because we don't discuss this beforehand. We just kind of roll with it. There's no prep or papers here with bullet points. We just jump right into it and give our raw and uncut, well, pre edit thoughts on whatever the topic or topics are. So that's cool. All right. Yeah.
Well, what about yourself? You sitting in your corner getting coached up by your trainer. What is he telling you? I mean, or how you feeling?
I brushed my hair today and I took a shower. And I won the day. If you did that today, pat yourself on the back. Yay, you did it. I mean, it's slow motion. There's no other way to say it. It's slow motion. It's another day. I'm excited, like I said, to do the podcast, as always, because I never know what little gems are going to come out of it. And I'm always hopeful that in some way it inspires, impacts, or empowers some of our listeners. Somebody, anybody. So I'm in good spirits. Just slow motion, though. I'm not on 10. I can be on 10 sometimes. I'm like at a 6.
It's better than 5.
Yeah. The 6 is where I need to be, I think. That's good.
It's above 50%, man. Shit, in baseball, if you bat 300, you a Hall of Famer. So you well over that. So you good to go.
So today, this is going to be so interesting because it's not far off, but you're probably going to have like, what? I want to talk about guilty pleasures and self value. And interestingly enough, the two tie right in because I had to start sitting and thinking about self value the more I delve into my guilty pleasure. So I'm gonna say what my one of my guilty pleasures is, and we don't have to jump into it. I'll go back over to you because I already know you're gonna be like, "What?" So I know people guilty pleasures sometimes, they're different little things that we indulge in, not all the time. You don't know what that is. Most of you probably do, but I'm just, kind of giving a brief description of what I mean for guilty pleasure. And I'm not talking about like cake and ice cream. I'm talking about something you do and you like, I should not, I know I should not be doing this, but I'm doing it though. I'm giving time to this and why? Like, why? And then you just get caught up and you find yourself doing it longer than you should have. Or for some, being that we are implementing the social distancing more often than not, I don't do this normally, but I've gotten caught in this in this cycle of watching paternity court. So I found it on YouTube and like I watched one episode. The thumbnail got me because I was like, that can't. What does that say? She has 6 different guys tested for paternity, and I'm like, that can't be. So I clicked it, and they're real good with the, as my daughter would say, clickbait. So I click it, and 30 episodes later, probably because they go so fast. I look up, and it's like, man, you've watched all these episodes of Paternity Court, and that's like one day. And it's funny because it's guilty pleasure. I will do things, get stuff done. I've been productive, and I'd be like, "Ooh, let me see if it was another paternity court uploaded." And so that is the guilty pleasure that I will be discussing today. And also, the other topic was self value. It's interesting how I'll tell you how those two kind of tie into each other, but, but those are the topics today. Guilty pleasure or pleasures, they may be little small things, and self value. So I can dive into mine, but I mean, if you're ready, you can go ahead and get in there.
No, I'm gonna let you take that because I, I mean, I know what guilty pleasures mean, and I know what they consist of. Obviously, it's something that you consume, but I didn't think you was gonna say
You
fraternity
probably
court.
were thinking something a little bit more juicy. Somebody out there might be like porn. I don't know. It just, I mean, this is my guilty pleasure. I don't think, well, that's a whole nother thing I was going to say. I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. I think that at some point in somebody's life, they watch porn, but maybe they watch it more often than not. I mean, hey, I think that might be kind of normal. But paternity court, at the rate I'm watching it, so, where do I begin? So, my guilty pleasure, like I said, is late now, specifically during our quarantine. I just got caught up in paternity court. And it's so crazy because these cases, I've pulled you in sometimes on, hey, you gotta see this, you gotta see this. And the stories, like I mentioned, the lady that was having the 6 men tested and then she still didn't know. And then there are women that come on and they are like standing there straight face. Like, I had sex with you, and yeah, it might be somebody else. I'm just here to see who the father is. Or they are adamant about you, the father. Just look at the eyes, look at the nose. And this is not like on some Maury Jerry Springer. It's got a touch of class a little bit more because I guess it's the way that they set it up, how the courtroom is, and the judge. I like when she kind of digs into it, like she'll kind of read them their rights. It's not Jerry or Maury. It's not that kind of craziness, but it's kind of wild because some of the women on there are adamant, like, well, this is your son or your daughter, and when they read the results, it's like, well, it's not. They'll stand there like they took a shot of liquor and just like, well, okay, all right, well, you not. That's fine. And the judge will say, well, do you know who the father is? No. Well, my baby don't need nobody. I'll be the mother and the father. And the judge will jump in and she's like, no, every child is entitled to know who their father is. And she'll kind of reaffirm the importance of knowing both of your parents. And she has some good advice. And again, like I said, I love that she'll let them have it. Because I know some of your breaking points are when the women start crying.
Oh my god!
He
Yeah,
gets so mad because they start crying because they will have slept with One case I remember, this girl, she slept with the boyfriend, friends, then she slept with his brother, and then I think she had slept with the uncle or something like that. But that came out during just the men in the courtroom. It was the brother and her actual boyfriend. So they were there. So that was already like, ooh. And then when it was like, you slept with our uncle, and it went on, and she started crying, well, you weren't there for me, and you was always going with your friends. And then you hear ones where it's like, you were always at work, and they just burst into tears. And Lou, you don't have no chill. You have this.
I have
I
zero
know it's
tolerance
bad.
for some of that stuff, man, because it's like communicate. Tell this man or tell this woman, hey, you might want to chill out on some of this being gone all the time because my mind be wondering anything. You know your signs of what's the word? Love communication or whatever it is that you call it.
Your love language.
Yeah, love language. Like you know what it is after being with your spouse or whatever, man. So why you waiting until it get to that point to be like you want to do that, and then you did it that way? The uncle, the brother, the cousin, and all that. Like, and there's multiple people, and they all be having these same lame ass excuses, and I'll be like, dude, did y'all did y'all hand this script off to every person that came after y'all on this show? Because y'all all giving the same excuses. Like at some point, come on, man. Like I don't have no chill because it sounds pathetic to me. And I'm like one of the most empathetic people in the world. Like I try to be objective as much as possible because I don't like to judge people because I know that I don't know people's background and how much they've been damaged and broken as a kid or a young lady or a young man growing up. So I try to be very empathetic, but I am also a man of accountability. And some of this shit I be seeing on there, I be like, dude, like y'all all saying the exact same thing. Like both of them, dudes and the girls on there, or the young women. I didn't grow up with a daddy. Like I get it, I really do. I understand, but that's why I said some of that is empathetic in me where I've been like, man, I do understand that part. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a lot of people that grown up without a two-parent household, specifically black people. Let's just be clear here. We are known for not having two-parent households, and it's been many of us coming out very sound in mind in this. And it's just like, okay, what are you doing to create this inner monster of yourself to where you just decide, okay, well, I'm just gonna use this as a scapegoat every time I do something stupid like this. Well, I didn't have a daddy, or I didn't have a mom. Like, come on, man, you can't use that every time you do something stupid.
Well,
That's just where my mind be at when I see it.
well, which brings me to the other part of what we're talking about. And now that I've given you like a kind of a brief description of some of the craziness from the brothers, the uncles, and then sometimes it's even reversed. The guy will be there saying, yeah, I slept with her unprotected, but there's no way I could be the father. And she's so nasty. You know, I mean, they have this whole, like, I would never, you don't even know who your kids are by. And they'll go into this full reason as to why, and then that's not my baby, whatever. So I see it both sides. There was one guy I saw that broke down. He had like three girls. Two were pregnant with his babies, and he was there to see if the babies they already had were his. And he was calling them names, and they were getting into it. In the midst of it, the judge let him have it because the way he was speaking so negatively towards the women that he had there were mothers that were pregnant by him and had no babies that they were having tested. And he broke down crying, saying, I never saw in my community how to love a woman. And he had his reasons. But that's what ties me into the second part of it. First, I told you about my guilty pleasure, but the second part was self value. And watching this, I try to get a lesson out of anything I watch. I try to take away something from anything that I lend time to, even my guilty pleasure. It's like, why am I watching this? And it's like, okay, well, I'm here now. What's going on? And so I just start to kind of pick at it. And the wheels on the bus or the wheels in my head are turning. So self value just kind of stood out to me. And even when I watch these episodes now, it's just it's interesting what a person will do when they don't understand the value of self. I mean, you give away so much, or you will allow yourself to be treated in such a way that somebody else may easily think, are you crazy? Are you kidding me? like how you just said, so what? Your father wasn't there, or your mom wasn't there, or you grew up in the foster system, or whatever it was. It's like you can do better. It's one thing for somebody to say that, it's another thing for you to feel it or fully understand the value of who you are. And I find I talk to my daughter even more so because that's a whole nother topic altogether, but just this music. One of the things, going back to my guilty pleasure, sometimes when the girls are going off in court, they'll end it, and the men too, with period. And that stands out to me because, again, like Lou, you being an artist and keeping up with the different stuff, and then us having the younger generation in the house, the city girls, period, period. Everything is period. We watch Genius, and it's like after you say something, it's like period. And so, yeah, it's interesting because I mean, they'll say some crazy stuff and follow with that. Yeah, I slept with your brother and your cousin and your uncle, period. Oh, okay. So I know that that's to put emphasis, but in saying that, that self value, I started looking at it, just took me down a rabbit hole with lyricism because music is something you hear all the time. You're playing it whether you like the beat, and in my time, I like what they were saying too, but the stuff that I'm hearing now, man, some of the stuff they're saying, that too adds to not having a full understanding of your self value or it being reaffirmed that it's okay to think like this. I let him hit and he buy me a tennis bracelet. I'm gonna get the bag. I'm gonna put my kitty in his mouth. All these different lyrics specifically for these like women right now. It's almost like some people look at it as empowering because it's like, well, men do it, and I'm, as a woman, I'm the first to say I've heard, the sexual craziness that's going on different times with males, with rap and different music. Some of it even in R&B, what, they cleverly disguise it and they saying some foul stuff. But I have never, it to me is at an all-time high where it is like self-value. Don't even worry about it. Fuck them for the bag. Don't get caught with some broke dick. I got money, but I want him to take care of me and pay for my girls too. And it's just crazy. It's like, this is the value in the vagina. Like, I mean, I could go way left. Like I said, I talk to my daughter more so because now the what's looked at as empowerment for females, I say specifically, it's like you pimping men. And then the whole thing that they fall back on, it's just like they do it to us, but let's not look at what somebody's doing because that's them. Let's look at the value that you have in yourself, the value of the individual that you saying you are. And everything that you saying, I can go get it, I can cop it myself, I can do this and all that. That all that goes away when you letting dudes hit or you on your back, or whether it's oral sex or not, there's an exchange that needs to happen. That you got to do this for that. It's like, so you just can't get this on your own merit. And I'm talking about just the money part of it. I'm talking about somebody just because of who you are bought something for you. Just because of who you are, they want to be in your presence. It's no sex attached to it. It's not because you got a fat ass and you shaking it. Having an artist in the house, having young adults, it's just like, whoa. And that to me transitions over to paternity court too. When I'm looking at these women and these men, and it's like, if there was some self value here and they had an understanding of who they are, what they possess, and the worth of it, like, I'm worth more than this. I wouldn't even have a show like Paternity Court to watch. And again, I don't just blame it. Well, that's just how they came up. At some point, you can push to know better and do better. Equip yourself to be in a better position because you got to know that's not the way. And if you don't, we make mistakes and we learn from it, or things happen and there are lessons that come with it. But yeah, self value. I know I went around it and tied into the music thing because they hit that period hard. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think there's a lot of self value anymore. I think people are just doing stuff and it's like, hey, whatever. And if the song is saying it, it's like they're not even trying to hear about what somebody thinks. You have people saying this over and over in music, and music is not only universal, it's powerful. You hearing this over and over. It's like how you hear positive affirmations. This stuff is reaffirmed if you listen to the same song because the beat is banging over and over and over and over and over again. It's like you planting seeds, and at some point you emulate what you've planted. That seed grows, and now you don't even realize, like, what? Period. You know, what I mean, you just, I mean, I can't even think of nothing else because it's so crazy. Because I can listen to stuff, and I listen to a lot of stuff because you being an artist with the kiddos and music, and even with Jay with music now, it's just like I try to be very open, and it's not even about being judgmental. When I listen to, like yesterday, Jay had on Ace Hood, Jay Z, and then it was, I don't even know who this other dude, but he was talking about eating her like she was spinach. Why would I trade a penny for a dime? I can't even remember everything, but it was nothing where I was like, okay, in this song, the takeaway from it was, if I'm listening to something and there's no takeaway, I feel dumber if I listen to it too long. I do. I don't want to hear about, and I can only say this one way, fucking bitches, getting money, fucking bitches again, look at my jewelry and my car, getting money, fucking bitches again. It's just like, what else is going on? This is your whole body of work. And then somebody that's listening to that all the time. It's just like, oh my goodness. For males, that's a whole nother thing. But for women, I think it's like a good thing. Cause now when you reverse it, it's about, he know if he hit it, he gonna pay. He gonna run me them dollars. He gonna run me that bag. He know what it is. I'm gonna treat like he looks stupid. Like, I'm trying not to quote these lyrics, but then when I start listening, I start getting dumber by the minute. It's like the beat is banging and she's hitting it on the track, or he is really riding the track. But what you're saying, I feel like the value is decreasing. Like I'm getting dumber by the minute the more that I listen to this, because how can I co-sign this? How can I co-sign that I'm gonna really break this dude for all he has, and he gonna look stupid because I took him for all his money, and he know he giving his money to me. He know it's expensive to date me. Like, I don't even understand where that falls in the value system. Because for me, it's like, I'm gonna go way back. I got my own. That's R&B, but I mean, I love that I come to the table with my own, and you got yours, and together it's even more. We've amassed more. I could probably do this whole podcast by myself. I'm over here just on a. That's it's just crazy to me, because it's just I'm very passionate, because again, the guilty pleasure, and I started taking that away from it. And another thing, half of these people that are singing this stuff, they not really living that life though. You got to really look at that. What you saying you not doing this? Let's go and look at what's going on in your life. Now, I'm not gonna put nobody on blast, but I know two female rappers where I can hit them over the head right now with bars they spit. Two hot ones you guys listen to, young people, and some older people too, probably, where it's like, that bar you spit, I saw you do something completely different. Like, you couldn't have possibly say this. And it's crazy because the dream that they're selling through these videos and stuff like that, and in this song that's hot that they keep playing 1,000 times on the radio, you bounce into it and you really feeling it. And it's like, but that shouldn't be your life though. That's not really how you need to maneuver, especially when you have value. If you're listening to this out of you have an understanding that that's not what it is, then more power to you. But if you really aligning how you move with some of the lyrics to these songs, whoo, I might see you on paternity court, male or female.
Well, I can't necessarily put in my guilty pleasures with this right here because it'll make this go completely left. But this is a very
Well, say what your guilty pleasure is and stay there.
No, because I want to touch bases on this right here, because you saying that I am an artist and I do hear a lot of these new songs or whatnot. I am one of those people that will keep an open mind, just like B just said for herself. My thing is, the people who are rapping these songs or whatnot, or singing the lyrics to these songs, because they're R&B artists, like she said, that sing stuff in different ways. Well, nowadays, R&B ain't nothing like the 90s. They ain't masking shit. They letting you know what it is just off their lyrical content. It ain't no creativity in it no more. It's either repetitive shit over and over again, bar after bar, or measure after measure, or they just letting you know exactly what it is with explicit words. Like, you don't know how to use something else other than dick, pussy. Yeah, you don't know no other words in your mind to pull from to make that sound more aesthetically pleasing to the ear. I lack of better words, but nor here nor there. When you talk about the value and stuff, I've always had these conversations just in general with people where I say, it's not us when we are talking about these lyrics, because I can listen to all that ratchet shit and know that it's entertainment. I know it's entertainment. I know you ain't doing half that dumb shit that you said you was doing. Cause first and foremost, whether it's selling drugs or whatever, you incriminating yourself. I laugh because somebody else posted something on Instagram about it's more incriminating artists in what 2015, 2020 since hip hop started. Like, how do you incriminate yourself with your own bars? So when you talk about value, we're not talking about the people. We understand it's several adults out here that have common sense that knows, hey, this is just a song I vibe to. Yeah, when I want to act a fool or whatnot, I'm doing my thing. I'm in my household. I just need to motivate myself to get through this workout, whatever the case may be, because the beat is banging. But I really can't jam this too much. This is more, like you said, to the youth, because what I find is a lot of people don't know the difference, specifically these young people. They don't know the difference between reality and entertainment. So when they hearing the lyrics to these songs, they're trying to emulate what they hear in these songs. And I've heard a couple of these cats, like you said, I don't like putting people names out there. It is what it is. You do what you do. But I've heard a hip hop artist say he don't sip lean or whatnot. He don't do none of that. But he raps about sipping lean. So you got all these 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds listening to your shit, vibing out, jigging, sipping lean. Meanwhile, you getting your bread, not sipping lean. So, me being an artist, I try to be as authentic as possible with my bars and my lyricism. I try to give you my experiences on my life and try to make sure that it resonate as much as possible with other people's lives and things of that nature with my stories. And worst case scenario, I talk in third person where there's a narrative where it has nothing to do with me, so the story is relatable to what the other people in the world has been going through. But ultimately, I want you to take something from it. Like you said, I want to leave your life better than I found it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't condemn anybody for their lyrical content or whatnot. Hey, do your thing. We all got to grow and try to mold our mind to be better people. But at some point, man, it got to be bigger than the money. And I know a lot of y'all are running around here, and this is one of these segments, B put it out there. I didn't even know what we was going to talk about, but since we've been very transparent, like, I really don't care if you come for me, because at some point, if you coming for me for what I'm saying, or you coming for her for what she's saying, is because you're being, in my opinion, you kind of being selfish. Because here it is, you saying, oh, well, you don't understand. No, bro, or ma'am, or girl, or boy, like, the thing is, the stuff that's being spewed into the world or whatnot, half this stuff it ain't good. Like, and as you get older, you don't do half that shit no more. So why spew all that into the universe or whatever, or into the world to people? They're trying to find themselves. Those are the people I'd be worried about. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not talking about the grown ass men and women who know the difference between entertainment and reality. But believe it or not, it's a lot of y'all out there. And I'm not being disrespectful when I say this, but it's the truth. A lot of y'all out there, I don't think you know the difference between reality and entertainment. So there's a big issue with that.
Period.
I mean, point blank, man. I'm being serious as hell, man. Like I said, we usually don't do the controversial, and it's not really controversial. I think sometimes y'all need the truth. Ain't nobody finna just sugarcoat this and act like we don't know people out here not understanding the difference between those, and you just running around here like a chicken with your head cut off, and that shit ain't, half this stuff these artists are spitting, they ain't doing none of it. The houses, the cars, they renting them. Some of them, they rent them. I have talked to people, that I was cool with, that's artists and stuff, and be like, dude, some of the biggest artists you think that's doing it and got all the money couldn't even pay for their meal when we was chilling and kicking it. So while y'all thinking that these dudes and these women are doing it the way they spitting it on these songs, man, you might want to just enjoy the music and just leave it at that, because the lifestyle, it ain't what you think it is.
Well, I think too, when you said, if I think somebody always has something to say, because, I have an opinion, you have an opinions are like, how that goes. Everybody's got one. So I think that actually saying, to me, it would be where you say, or where I had a brain freeze here, controversy would be, you guys out here putting this music out, you need to be role models. No, that to me is a controversial topic, because nobody needs to do anything. They gonna do what they want to do.
Absolutely.
While people say you know better, you do better. I say you know better, you have an option to do better. I think that what I'm talking about here is when I say, and everything you said, I'm just kind of segueing back in there, is self value. If you have a lack of role models or a parent, you're missing one, two, there's no one. A lot of people grow up on this music. So I bet you see people now with their headphones on, you listen to music in your car, in the gym, when you just vibe it out. You're being raised on the narratives that are pushed on these beats from these various artists. I'm not saying they have to change. I'm just saying I'm doing more, not saying you a role model. I'm on some exposed type shit today. Don't fall for it. Like you just said, don't fall for it,
Yeah.
because if some people want to get paid, and I'd say a great majority now, for selling a false narrative, so be it. You got to live with that. I just want more men and women that I see that don't have an understanding of who they are or who they can be. That's a false narrative, and you have value. There's no value in that right there, what you listen to, because you don't have somebody else in your life telling you that. I'll be the person to say it, because I'm real big on don't tell me something that's a problem and you haven't also backdoor with some way to resolve it, or some sort of how can we fix this. I think it's really wrong when somebody comes to you and they can tell you you should not be wearing that, or you do not need to do this, or they can tell you all about what you don't need to do. Now that you brought this to my attention, you about to leave me with I gotta figure this out by myself. Well, if you accept the job, or you real comfortable with telling me about what I shouldn't be doing, can you leave me with some tools and some resources that can assist me with doing something in replace of that? Can you assist me with doing this better or being better? And so the self-value thing for me, when I was going down the rabbit hole of the guilty pleasure and the hearing that period repeatedly reminded me of me here, where did I hear that? And it was music. And then I just started looking at the behavior that I'm seeing so much after repeatedly watching these episodes, and I'm just like, I kind of equated that to a lot of the music, because I don't think, and I kept hearing, there were no role models there. And I've heard before, you and I both have, where there are artists, it's like, I'm not a role model, but you making money off of a false narrative that you're selling to people. And
That's my
if
point.
you don't want to be accountable, that's fine. I don't think it's right. But what I'm saying is, please understand these are false narratives, and this is not the way. When you value yourself, there's some things you're not out there doing. And I'm sure it could be tons of people. It's like, I value who I am, and I'm gonna drop it or do whatever. I'm not here to go back and forth with you, but as a woman, you and I know, if there were some other options you had, you might not do it that way. You might not do it like that.
I like to put it in the aspect of this, and this point blank, period, as you like to say.
Period.
Uh, here's the thing. I like how you say you have the option to do better. And this is not to even be morbid, but if you found out one of your favorite restaurants today, if they were found out that the stuff that they selling, that you're consuming or eating from their restaurant, would kill you in the next 3 or 4 years if you started today, that's new information, right? This is new information. Are you going to say, oh, well, I'm going to keep on going to that restaurant and eating that because that burger or
Yep.
that shit, man, fuck it. Well, then sign my grave up today.
Surprisingly, a lot
I'm
would.
going to go ahead and go eat that because can't nobody put that barbecue down like little some in them. Like, you got me messed up. I'ma still go over there. So that's my quarrel. It's honestly not with an artist, because y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. Get your paper, man. That's between you and the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror that you look at, knowing that you selling something that you don't even do yourself. It's one thing if you was doing it yourself and you was living that lifestyle. I may even have some empathy for you, but a lot of y'all don't even live that lifestyle, so you selling it to people and stuff like that. So I'm talking more or less to the people who's listening to this. So once you find out XYZ about some, or you exposed to different type of music, because that's a whole different quarrel too, where I feel like the music industry saturates the music market. They say that all the artists have more creative control and the music is booming all over, but they know what they want to put out and they know what they want people to listen to. That's why they put the main songs on the new hot songs on Apple Music or wherever the streaming is. They know what they want the headline. So Let's just be clear. It ain't spread across the board evenly like that. So I'm saying if you had the opportunity, which you do to a certain extent, to go search, you know what? I don't really want to listen to this today. I want to try some different stuff. I want to see if they got something that's more relatable to who I am. Now, there are artists all over this world and on different platforms that you can seek out that you never even heard of. And I'm not saying it because I'm one of them. I'm just saying in general that you can listen to that'll speak your language. You probably would much rather listen, to that sometimes more than what you've been exposed to. Now, if you got that type of stuff put into the forefront, so now the decision, like you said 10 minutes ago, is solely up to you. So if you choose to keep buying into some product that's faulty, then that's all on you. And like you said, the ultimate purpose of this topic is talking about value. Now it's on you. What do you value? Because now you got the information. Now you got, oh man, it's somebody that sounds just like me out here. Is it that you think that you're going to be a square if you listen to this over here as opposed to listening to what everybody else listen to? Like, you don't want to be an outlier. I mean, most kings, last time I checked, it's only one fucking seat. It ain't a king right here and then you got several other seats that's sitting on the same level as you. So that's how I like to see it. If you don't want to be a standout, then go be as my one of my words, plebeian or peasant. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I'm not real big on following just, because everybody else is doing something, especially when you got the information. Again, this is my opinion. I know that you guys have a better mind to do things better, or make better choices for us value wise. And again, this is not talking about the artist and then not putting a big beamer light on artistry or anything like that. It's just more or less like when you got the information, you got a choice now, like you said, to make better decisions and grow yourself in a different way.
And also, I mean, I know that when you've been listening to something for so long and it's just a part of your catalog or whatever, instead of, I wish I could change it, instead of just saying parental advisory, because this is grown people, it should just proceed with caution and just have an understanding that as you begin to listen and feed yourself with these different things, we're learning even when we don't think we are. There are seeds being planted every day, especially with, again, music and television. If you watch a lot of stuff, we learn from observation. We learn from perpetuated cycles, something being repetitively heard or seen over and over and over again. You look up and it's like, oh, doing this? I can't believe I'm, doing this, because you've planted that seed and it's this something that's repetitiously happening, whether through seeing it or hearing it. And there you have it. I just would urge each individual, and I definitely, and even in my guilty pleasure, I always, even with us shedding light on it here, I was just thinking, wow, how can I, put myself somewhere in there and just kind of assist? I'm not an artist. I'm, not on TV. We have a podcast right now that's new and growing. But even, I make it a point when I come in contact with different individuals, the information I have, I think is communicating is big, but also the sharing of information. Once you learn something, I think they say each one teach one. I might be saying it wrong, but I mean, if we, continue to share this information or the new insight or understanding that we have, you just never know how it can change somebody's life. And I don't think that everybody knows right off. I mean, I think it's just mass production, and the industry and social media and television has a way of controlling what you hear and what you see. You see it so much, it's just kind of you're force fed this. And you look up and it's like, hey, it just is what it is. I mean, that's what we do. That's what everybody's doing, and it's not. It's not. Even the person that's saying it may be selling you a false narrative. It's like, oh no, I was just a part of that. That's what I was selling. That was like, that's a big thing, or it rhymed, or whatever it is. I just would like for other people to know that you have value. Whatever it takes to establish that you have value, whether it's more, gaining more insight through reading or connecting with different people, or just trying to equip yourself with knowing that your time is worth something. Who you connect with physically means something. It's not just an exchange that's happening, or because of monetary things, or gifts. Like, it's, you're worth so much more. And I say that not just for women, but for men too. Men are human. We had this conversation the other day. They have feelings too. I'm a huge advocate, and I have empathy for a lot of men because it's pretty much looked at with them. They've been doing it. They know that they'll get over it. That's a man. They doing what men do. And it's like, so let me get this straight. We're all humans, but because you were born a different gender, you just automatically should be able to take somebody cheating on you, dogging you out because it happens to women all the time. You have to pay because of the gender you are. It's like you guys do it all the time. Okay, that's you guys. What about this one specific person, this male that this could be happening to? It's almost like it's unheard of. It's like, even back to where it's like men are not supposed to cry or be emotional. It's funny, but it's not. I've watched scary movies where it's already looked at as to wake up, honey, go check out the sound. What is that? Go check it out. And you see the woman or the woman with the children, she stays back and she's watching. And I get it, with kids and stuff, somebody would have to stay. But when I've seen the narrative where it's like, wake up, go check it out, it's like, ooh, I'm glad I'm not in his shoes because why does he have to go check it out? I mean, unless he's like trained in special forces or like tactical training or he's got like weaponry skills or just off the chain. Like, I don't, we both going to check it out because if they kill him, they still coming for me. So we could just go both make this run together. Like on two, we're gonna get up in here and we're gonna be with. We're gonna have to go down. I'm going down with the ship or whatever. I just never understood that. So this is not just. I think I'm very passionate because I am a woman and I'm seeing these paternity court. It's just like these women. I've seen it repeatedly and I've been watching it a lot. They have a lot of kids, or they just, in some cases, more than not, just in what they don't know who the father is. Why would you do that? Like, why are you comfortable being that way? But the men on the other side, too, are kind of just like, whatever. I'm just, I'm being a man. It is what it is. I said what I said to get what I want. I've heard this repeatedly. I called him and it was like, do you hear this dude? He said, I said what I said to get what I want, and I'll keep doing that. I slept with her just before we came up here today, and I'll keep doing it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell you everything you want to hear. And he was comfortable in saying that. But it's just like, where did you get that from? Why you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. So I hope I'm bringing it all back in because I always want to take away from this. The self value is so important. You're worth so much more than just the lyrics to some song. You just start implementing it. It's just like no, or what you see. It's like you just emulate it. Like I guess that's how it's supposed to be. 9 times out of 10, your intuition, what you're feeling, is kind of giving you a heads up. Like this don't feel right. It's got to be more to it than this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go back around what you said. I just think ultimately with certain things we've just been so desensitized. I was thinking of that word when you were saying why would the woman or why would men commit such an act with no thinking of like what the ramifications could be, and I just ultimately chalked that up to being desensitized. I mean, whether it's the music, and I know we was on that for a minute, and again, I ain't trying to smash nobody's parties. Do what you do, man. Hey, whatever makes you happy, far be it from me to judge you. And also, when you were saying earlier with the porn, like just stuff like that, when you're talking about if you're a heavy watcher of that, whether it's Instagram and just looking at ass all day, I don't know. But when you see things over and over again, and I know we're more capable of things than we know, I don't think we fully grasp the concept sometimes of really truly believing that you emulate more of what you gravitate to. I mean, I know we hear that saying, if you hang around 5 broke people, you be number 6. Like, I don't think your grandmothers and your moms and dads, and I mean my mom, my dad, my grandmother, and all, I'm included in this. I don't think they all said that just because it was a fancy ass statement. I think it's some truth and just behind you are what you hang around. I mean, you are what you listen to. You are what you watch most of the time. I'm not saying that you can't entertain yourself with some of that stuff, man. I'm not the party pooper. I said this before. I'm not. Like, cause a lot of that shit, I listen to it, I watch sometime. I'm human, but again, don't overfeed yourself with just different things. Like, just like you said, at least give yourself an opportunity to see what else is out there for you to, grow yourself with some value. Believe me when I say it's other things out there that definitely can be eye-opening for you. Just don't stick in the same mud just because that's all you know. Like, that's ultimately my goal I know I came off harsh or whatnot and some of the stuff that I said, but I meant it, man. I mean, sometimes it's almost like, man, I'm not nobody parent, but it's like your parents scolding you and then they say, I only did it because I love you. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a very honest place in my heart when I say some of this stuff because I know we're better than that. I'm not here to combat anybody for their thoughts and opinions. I respect people's opinions as long as you don't come at me disrespectful, but I definitely respect where you coming from. I'm very objective. So the takeaway from me to give to you guys is just what I said. Just give yourself an opportunity to see some different things, expose yourself to some different opportunities, different environments. And once you've done that, then it's completely up to you to make a decision because my big thing, like I said, is accountability. You can't keep using the same excuses about this is where I'm from, this is all I know when somebody's tried to show you something different.
All right. Well, if you want to keep the conversation going, let's talk about it. You can email us at realfitradio@gmail.com. That's also for questions, comments, concerns. Again, this is always an open dialogue. We'd love to hear from you, your feedback or anything like that. Our podcast drops every Monday. And also, we have our midweek rant by yours truly. You get a little peek inside my psyche every Wednesday. As always, we hope that we have inspired, impacted, or empowered someone, anybody out there. Until next time.